Welcome to Mending Threads. This is your safe place and your stronghold for whole body wellness. We discuss transformational series on life topics from a mind, body, spirit perspective. And today we have a topic that's best befitting for Valentine's Day. And we want to look at all of the thoughts about what this love is and how it affects our life. And we're going to look at it from both a spiritual and psychological perspective. I want to first bring on our co-host, Reverend Dr. Corey Wilson from missionary from the Missionary
Christian
Faith
faith.
Baptist Church. You know, I
Christian
get it
faith.
all.
You're doing great, Dr. Lewis. You're
I'm
doing
doing great.
you're
Reverend
doing
Dr.
great.
Corey Wilson is co-host and really is both psychologist and I call him spiritual development leader because he also chairs and did leadership with our Pastors Community Connect here in Houston, Texas. But he is both looking at each topic each week from both a psychological and spiritual, if we could say that word, perspective. And then I also want to bring on a little realism today and from more than another perspective. And I have invited Mr. Kenji Nice, who is the CEO of the 90.3 GMO radio station. So, Mr. Nice, if you could come on and we're going to ask you to share some thoughts and realism, both from your experience and from your observation on your everyday living.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
How
our
y'all
topic,
doing?
Good. Good
Mr.
evening.
I just wanted to formally welcome the two of you this morning
Thank you.
to talk about such a special thing. So I thought I would throw it out there since we throw this word around love to see what your thoughts are about love. So I'm going to ask you, Dr. Wilson, if you could kind of give us a ground floor perspective of what love could mean.
Well, thank you for that intro, Dr. Lewis. It's always an honor and a privilege to be a part of this show. So I'm going to give you two quick synopses of my realities of love. I'm going to give you pre-Christ for me. Pre-Christ, meaning before I gave my life and was baptized and started to follow the processes and development of becoming a believer. Okay. Pre that, my thought of love really was about what I got. Okay. That was my premise.
Yep.
I didn't know that. And if somebody would have told me that, I would have argued them. But had they tracked my behaviors, see, outside of what we think, what we feel, and what we say, that's when you track behaviors. See, behaviors directly go right with, or it supersedes what you think, what you feel, and what you say. So my behavior showed that my definition of love was all about what I got. And that's how I viewed it. However, since coming to Christ the right way and learning of him, that has completely changed on its face. And it's like the opposite. The true definition of love, according to God, is not what you get, but it's about what you give. So just that, I want to just start that as the premise of thought, because those are two opposing modalities that we walk, live by, but yet consciously don't know that that's how we behave. And we bring these things in relationships in all regards, not understanding it's about sometimes what we get, but yet we ask for all these things. And God teaches us it's about what you give. That has changed me in every way that I can imagine. So I'm
So I want to also let's hear what Mr. Nice has to say in terms of what he's hearing from you. How are you reacting to that?
I definitely can. I definitely can relate. I would call mine selfishness. I would call mine that because uh, like he said before really just knowing God and being married, I really got closer to God. As I knew God, who God is. I knew I had a relationship, but I got closer when I got married. And so before my marriage, even though I knew God, it was what can I tell you? What can I tell you? What sounds good to you? And I now know that back then that wasn't really love. I know that now. Um, it was selfishness because I done what I and I said what I needed to say to make myself happy.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying?
You mean so in order to get the attention or the gratification
Exactly.
from the person.
Exactly. To get that love, I
Hmm.
said whatever sound good. If it put a smile on the face, I
Mhm.
said it again.
Mhm.
If it sound good and it made them move a certain way, I would say it again. If we ended up, the day to the nighttime, it ended up a certain way, I
Mhm.
would say it again. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Yes.
and me
Uh-huh.
understanding that just telling people things is that's not love,
Mm-mm.
not
Hmm.
at all.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
So then some of my patients say that works for them, but that they feel that they're not fulfilled, that they are getting what it is that they want.
in
But
in in that, when I look at it now, I have to love myself first and foremost.
Mhm.
Before my wife, I have to love myself
Mhm.
first. That's
Mhm.
where the non-fulfillment is and just in my opinion, that's why I would say the non-fulfillment was coming in because I did do all of that and I wasn't fulfilled. It's because I didn't love myself like I love myself now. And
right.
loving myself, I could be open to give. Like Pastor was saying, I can be open to give. I'm open to give now because I love myself and I understand that I'm not going to do anything to hurt myself. I'm not going to do anything to try not to. Let's just say that try not to.
Mhm. Mhm. And
Hmm.
see, in that explanation, Brother Nice, what you're also saying is two things. Your old love and mine, we're in agreement. So this is not just about your testimony. We're sharing this.
Right,
And I'm saying that because I don't want anyone to think we're pointing the finger. No, 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 no. We
right,
both have offered who we were and how
right,
we were so people can know what you see today, it wasn't always what it used to, or what it
uh,
was, or what it. This is a better me, a better polished me.
yes,
So the first thing you just said is that other love we used to do and
yeah,
have was political love.
yeah,
Okay? It was all political.
yeah,
Say what needs to be said to get whatever it was you wanted.
yeah,
Had nothing to do with the individual,
nothing.
okay? But
Yeah,
it made the individual think it was
it was
all about
all about them. Yep.
okay. It's now
Hmm.
which now when you go political, now you can stem another word from political in that regard with this connotation. You can say manipulation.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Now just hear me out. As we mature, you realize as we told people what they wanted and gave them what they wanted, we always had a hidden agenda.
yeah,
So, in that, with the hidden agenda and manipulating, we, the giver, who's only politically giving, will never get satisfactory
exactly.
out of what we're giving. Why? It's not real.
Right,
It's
right,
not real.
right.
Is
So,
that is
it,
that what they call temporary eroticism?
yes, ma'am. It goes.
Yeah,
It falls under
yeah,
all that. Yes, ma'am.
yeah,
Hmm.
That's right.
Hmm.
yeah.
So,
Because
go ahead.
when I look back when I look back at 19, when I look, because I'm gonna say 19 because that's when I had my first child.
Hmm.
So when I look back at that, and I didn't know what love was. I didn't know what I honestly I know what it is now. And but back then I didn't, like I said, I just didn't. I put it out there like and honestly I did it not knowing.
Hmm.
I did it not knowing, and that might sound crazy, but I did it not knowing. And it's just when I look back on it now, it's just crazy. It's
Yeah.
really mind blowing for me because I would tell women that, hey, I love you, we gonna get
Mm-hmm.
married, this and that, this
Mm-hmm.
and that, and knew on tomorrow I would feel different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And what it was, brother Nice, it was culture.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't mean culture with the hash of race. No, 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 no.
Right.
This culture that I'm talking about is the human
Right.
culture, not the race culture.
Right.
I mean, that's where you got the subculture
Right.
within the culture. Okay. So I don't want us to think that I'm talking about how we were as black. No,
Right.
no, no,
Right.
no, 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 no.
Right.
How we are as human.
Humans. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not the subculture of being black, which is a different dynamic too. But
Right.
in general, we all, for the most part, suffer from how the culture
Right.
around us
Right.
is receiving and giving love.
Right.
Okay. And
Right.
you're born into that. So you're naturally going to reproduce that which you have been exposed to.
Right.
So by nature, you're going to be doing something, whether it be good or bad.
Right.
When it's the culture, you think it's good
Right.
because that's what is being done.
Right.
So that's why you can be participating in something subconsciously
Yeah.
in regards to if it's good or bad or right or wrong.
Right.
That's how deep culture runs.
Right.
Okay. And environment. That's how deep that is.
Right.
It'll shape things that you really don't realize until you start waking up.
Right. Yeah.
so I saw on Facebook in which they're encouraging faith organizations to to talk about relationship building. You know, we did that this past January to begin to look at that when Mr. Nice was talking about he gave what he wanted to receive.
Mhm.
You know, he was looking at that, and they were saying that if we were to really begin to teach biblical studies and be really looking at what the real love looks like, that men would take charge in relationships more and recognize. And there's somebody, they made this statement that that throughout thing, that whatever a man gets, if he gives it to the woman, she's going to double it or she's going to make it more. So if you go buy food, generally she's going to prepare and have a meal. If you do whatever you're giving, that she was designed to multiply
Mm.
and to make it better.
Mm.
So then if the man is not taught how to give and to really know himself in giving and taking leadership, then the type of love that he's looking for or searching or whatever may not happen because he may not know how to express it or how to ask, request it, or get it, or
Right.
not know it.
And I want to put this out. I just want to put this out there again. When we talk, Pastor Wilson, when we
Uh-huh.
talk, I really want people to understand that it wasn't an intentional motive back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was just actions based. I was again based on what you said, culture,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
moving accordingly to that time. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that I got up this morning to say, "Hey, I'm finna go play with somebody mine. I'm finna go do this. I'm finna go
Mm-hmm.
do that." It was
Mm-hmm.
actually I probably would really was liking this person, but at the same time, what I was telling them, like, let's get married. That wasn't really just the end goal, But I was feeling, I was feeling that person or feeling those people, you know what I'm saying? But that wasn't really the main end goal. I think it just sounded good at the
So
time.
how did you know? How did you ever find out? How did you, can you share any of that? How did you really know that this is not what it is that you were trying to do?
When I got married, my wife made me see different. And not see different, yeah, made me see different. I realized that there was no need to do what I was doing. I could be open and be honest. I could be honest and say, okay, this, that, and it didn't taint. our relationship at the time, the relationship. She allowed me to be me, and I understood that in being me and her being her, there were going to be disagreements, but we still could truly love each other in those disagreements. You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Look, no, not only do we understand, let me say it differently. The same thing. I
Right.
just want to say it differently. What he's saying is that we, before we realize it, we promote more the image of a man than being a man. And in that, what he learned when he got married, he didn't have to promote
Yeah.
the image any longer.
Yeah.
He can now be.
Be. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. See, that's where the politics come in.
Yeah.
Politicians, all they do is what? Sell this, sell
Right.
that,
Right.
promote this, promote that, right? But when you are trying to be something
Right.
versus sell something,
Right.
now you are allowing people to see you in your
Exactly.
flaws.
Exactly.
Even though you might want to do this and that with them, you
Right.
don't have to sell it
Yeah.
in a way to make them want to be a part of it
Right.
because it seems like they are going to get everything they want.
Right.
So it's the image that we didn't realize that we were selling versus being what we were trying to sell.
Right.
And
Right.
when you got married, you realize with your wife, I don't have to sell nothing to her.
Right.
I can be, and guess what? She accepts me and she still treats me
Yeah.
a certain way. You see, you
Yeah.
just realize I don't have to do this. And then you realize it was a game.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
So,
and I always go back to myself and I say, dang, when I was telling that person that I was loving, that I loved them, that wasn't really love because when I tell you that I love you, like I really mean like through the good, through the bad, I'm gonna stick with you until we come up with something where we just really have to just and I understand that love, even in love is gonna bring ups and downs, and that's something that I understand now. You know that even it's Valentine's Day, and today we might go through it today. You understand what I'm saying? But that don't mean tomorrow I dislove you, I hate you. Just because we went through it today don't mean that the love stopped. I could love
maybe
you too.
actually, maybe actually going through those things
Make it better.
actually make it stronger. The
Yeah,
very
make it
thing
strong.
that we avoid in love
Yes,
is the very thing that actually
make it better.
hones it in and makes it
Yeah.
better and richer.
Yeah, and that's something that I learned too is that, damn, we made it. Excuse my language, but we made it through that. Okay, we good. If we made it through that, we good. Let's move on, and whatever comes next, we'll handle it when it comes.
mhm,
Welcoming it together.
You
correct.
feel me? So yeah, so being like I said, just being searching for myself and looking and understanding myself played and having a closer relationship with God just
Hmm.
made everything better for me, which makes everything better for her
Hmm. Hmm.
because I understand, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, Pastor Doctor. I felt like if I came home and I didn't get whatever it was that I was feeling at that time, this
Hmm.
was with previous girlfriends,
Hmm.
I would be like, man, all right, I'm gonna holler at you. And
Hmm.
I go somewhere else and get whatever
Hmm.
it is that I needed at that time and then come
Hmm.
back home
Hmm.
and be. But now I've learned to if it's not there, cool out. Go
Hmm.
turn on the TV,
Hmm.
give some space, and
Hmm.
eventually it'll work itself around to.
Hmm. Hmm. It's thank you for saying that because that's the premise of what we're talking about today. It's about, like we said before, it was about what you received.
Right.
That's what you just explained. If you didn't get what you wanted, you didn't even think twice. So that tells you in that dynamic, you didn't love them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if love was about getting what you wanted, according to God, that's not love. But
Yeah.
that's what we thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've been there myself. And what's amazing, hear this. What you've learned, what I've learned, when I don't get whatever it is I want, and I say I love this person,
Right.
what I also should be doing when I'm not getting what I want and I say I love them, instead of thinking about leaving to go get what it is I want from
Yeah.
them,
Yes.
I should be working to help plant,
Right.
nurture,
Right.
help, support
Yeah.
what them to get to where they need to be.
Right.
So in turn, I'll get what I want
Yeah.
when they get what they need.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The old love that
Yeah.
we had nothing to do with what we were doing.
Yeah.
It had everything to do with what we were getting.
Yeah.
And now you realize if I'm not getting what I want from the one I love, that means I'm willing to do the work.
Right.
Case in point, if you go to a ground that's bare, we went today, we went to some woods, it's bare. We have some trees, some grass here and there. And we say to ourselves, we look at each other, say, man, I sure would like some watermelon. Now we're on some bare land, right? It's empty, but there's some grass, there's some dirt, there's some trees. And we both say, man, I sure would like some water. And then I say, I would like okra. And we sit there and we're like, well, we might as well turn around and get out of here because what? Ain't nothing here but some land.
Right.
Now, the old us, we would have ran as though whoever gave us this empty land just cursed us, right?
Yeah.
And we would have walked away cussing the earth and them.
Yeah.
Being as ignorant
Yeah.
as we have no idea, not knowing that if we wanted okra and watermelon,
All we gotta do is plant it.
come on, because we
Yeah.
got
That's
some
all right.
good
That's
land,
right. That's what I'm
it's
talking about.
fertile,
Yeah.
but we don't see it that
Yeah.
way when we're not in the right mindset.
And then you know what I say to that is we so focused on what we not gonna get that we don't understand what we can get.
That's
You
right.
understand what I'm saying? And I really like I go through that like what you say. I might come home and dang, it's not the way that because you riding home,
Mm-hmm.
you got this idea how it's gonna be when
Mm-hmm.
you get to the house, and
Mm-hmm.
when you get to the house, you thinking it's gonna be this, next day, whatever, woo woo, and then come get to the house, it's a moo moo and one of the hair nets things on, and
Mm-hmm.
you like you know. But
Mm-hmm.
then I've learned to say, I'm learning to say,
Uh-huh.
okay, well, maybe she was just tired.
Exactly.
Maybe she was just, maybe that's her comfort. She came home and got comfortable. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of looking at it from what I wanted it to be, I have
Mm-hmm.
to try to make myself understand where she's at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you understand?
also, Mr. Nice, falling on that sometimes, it is that the hairnet and the whatever is there because it needed something else to come through the door.
Right,
So
right.
sometimes it might need to be just a little bit, not necessarily flowers or something, but
Mm,
it could be just something on a card that you might say, today was the day, but look, I heard this and I want to give this to you.
right.
You see,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that to just
Mm-hmm.
change
Yeah,
whatever the atmosphere. Speaking of the bare ground, speaking
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
of the land
Mm-hmm.
there that you were speaking
Mm-hmm.
of, what you could do
yeah,
with that, you could get all kind of stuff to grow.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's
Now, am
right.
I perfect? I haven't mastered this thing, and I don't think I ever will master it. You understand what I'm saying? But I have learned, and I've gotten a lot better because I know we as men, Pastor, and just speaking, we
Mm-hmm.
do have these thoughts when we coming home.
Mm-hmm.
We have these certain, okay, yeah, today we want it like, we want it to be
Mm-hmm.
like this.
You're right.
When you open that door and it's not like that,
Mm-hmm.
I know with me it's dang, but
Mm-hmm.
again, just learning how to put myself where she is.
Mm-hmm.
Say, damn, if she put on a hairnet and or whatever, then
Mm-hmm.
maybe she just
Or
tired.
this hairnet is having a hard time.
Wait, but hold
Yeah,
on, Dr. Lewis. But let him have that. I'm gonna go a different route. Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
okay. I'm gonna use grits. Okay, I'm a
yeah,
southerner, so I like to eat. All right. So one time, it was a Saturday morning, And my wife asked me, "So what you want to eat?" I said, "Oh, I think I want some grits." She said, "Okay," but she never moved. Right? 30 minutes passed. 45 minutes passed. I'm like, "Okay, she's not moving." So what I decided to do was get up, get the grits pot, and just put the water on. Because she said to get the grits going, the water must be on and boiling. So here's what I did. Instead of saying, "What happened? What you doing?" You said, "I went a different route." Now this comes with maturity, right?
Yes. Yes.
I got up, didn't say nothing. We were still watching TV. She heard me in there rattling pots. I put the pot on. She heard the water going in, and I just cut it on, right? So then she said, "Well, how much water did you put in there?" I didn't respond. I just smiled. Then it clicked. Well, you know what? You did ask me, and I asked you what you wanted, and I didn't move, but you got up and put the water in the pot. You know what it was saying to her without no verbal verbiage? It's time for me to get up. My baby then got up and started the process for me.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
So
yes,
you know what? She was then about to get on me about measuring. I'm like, I'm not measuring water,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
here to help. But
Yeah.
then it triggered. See, we didn't even have no discussion.
Right.
Everybody got happy.
Right.
It's trying to show you sometimes
yes.
we're not
Energy,
willing to do the
energy.
work.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Uh-huh.
right. And that's
Love
what
is
Dr.
also
Lewis
energy.
Yeah.
was
And
talking
it,
about when go ahead,
and also making it's making adjustments.
making adjustments.
You know, that's like one of the I mean, I'm learning a lot. Like I'm learning so much. But yeah, adjustments is a key thing for me for my marriage. And
Hmm.
when I
So
say that
listen,
it's just
listen at this, Mr. Nice.
mm-hmm,
So since y'all sharing, so years ago, my husband he had the whole idea that this Valentine things was this was a commercial thing and
Hmm.
all
right,
this kind of stuff, and they're just getting people's money and
right.
all this kind of stuff, you know, and
He probably was
we,
telling the truth, but
we were young and everything,
Hmm.
and everybody was getting stuff and feeling all talking about what
Hmm.
they had, and so this, and I was like, my feelings were hurt because he would cook a dinner, but he wouldn't get anything like real romantic. So
Hmm.
this little older lady next door told me, you know how these little ladies with no teeth and all that, you know, she's
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
but she would say, look, you have to create the environment that you want to have.
mm,
So therefore, if he's cooking the meal, you create the romance.
mm,
And then he's going to finally get the idea that you
mm,
just want to be romantic.
mm-hmm,
So therefore, so she went to the store with me because I was like, I didn't know what to, I was
right,
like, what is this?
right,
So anyway, so she went to the store with me. She says, "You're too practical."
yeah.
she, she says the way that I got all my husbands is I would cook something really good, and I would raise the window, and I would fan the air
mm,
out so that they could hear. She so they could smell.
feel it.
I know she said I never
Uh-huh.
said a mumbling word.
Word.
Mm,
Okay, then so she says, here's what you're gonna have to do. The way that you feel, I want you to go and dress the way that you want to feel
mm,
with
Hmm.
your husband. I want
Hmm.
you to create an atmosphere and find something that tastes good,
Hmm.
look good, that's
Hmm.
gonna be in your environment.
Hmm.
And you don't have to say a mumbling word.
Hmm.
Okay. So
And,
I was all anticipating. And sure enough, it just kept growing and growing
hmm.
and growing. And all of a sudden, he was out romanticizing me.
All right.
it worked.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
Yeah. It's and the on the other side of that. Now, let me bring a little caution because you always have to think about
The real is the
the
real part.
realism of things when you're trying to do right and do well. If your efforts, and I want us to hear this, male or female, to the man from the woman, to the woman from the man, it doesn't matter. If your efforts and you're willing to do all of these things for that other person isn't being reciprocated or received,
Yes.
where it's causing them without talk to do something to even acknowledge to some degree in any way, right there, now God is saying, you need to look at it. who it is you're choosing to give that type of love to.
Mm.
Right.
Because now, just because you give that don't mean it's going
You
to be
don't.
received.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that's where I wanted to go too. That's
all
exactly
right,
what I
brother.
was
Come
going.
on, brother
Yes.
Nice.
Okay
That was my
then.
next. That was my next thing. Because you could be giving and giving and giving
Give
and
it.
giving,
Right.
and that
Hmm.
person is not receptive to.
That's right.
And they might be receptive, but they just don't know how to show it, how to
Yes.
give it back.
You right, brother Nice. But let me do this. I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt when we say they don't know how.
Right.
Why? They can try.
Yeah.
And if you don't, right now, I'm talking about the ones that don't even try.
Right. Mm.
All right. You look,
Mm-hmm.
one thing I've learned about having a dartboard, right? As long as you hit somewhere on the board, there's
Somewhere.
a target now. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. I want you to hit it. But if you just land somewhere on the board, and I know Dr. Lewis, she loving this right now. But if you can just land and look, Dr. Lewis, this what I'm saying is not from 1900.
See, he trying to listen to what his grandparents say. He trying to pretend like he experienced it, but he overheard it.
So you got to be careful.
Man, you know what? That one right there is I never looked at it like that. That make plenty of sense. Is that
Look,
That
it could be a bull. I don't need you to hit the bullseye.
no,
I just need you to hit somewhere
somewhere,
I'm just
on the
saying.
board.
Because that's what,
even
look,
try.
That's an attempt. That's a try. Yeah.
hey, because you know what I hate? And I don't allow myself to do it. So I
Yeah.
no longer accept it. I don't want to hear I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
Please. Who is?
Yeah.
So that's redundant. That's
Yeah.
really rhetorical. To say I'm not perfect, what are you saying? That's a
Yeah.
default. What are you disguising? What are you hiding? So when people say that, it makes me ask a deeper question. Everybody know you ain't perfect because
Perfect.
I'm
Right.
not either. So why
Exactly.
would I have to say that? I must be hiding something in regards to me not doing nothing when I
Mhm.
Right,
could have done something.
Something.
right.
Okay? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If I'm doing X, Y, and Z, you don't have to hit the target in response, but you better acknowledge about what you're getting and
Right.
what's happening in front of you. Just
Dang.
simple acknowledgement. Because if you do that, you will grow to the target. How you
Yeah.
like that? But for
Right.
Right.
what you're giving, you're not even moving.
You know what?
You're not
Somebody
even
might
moving.
need somebody on here. Somebody might need to hear that one because they might be mistaken not hitting the target,
Yes.
not hitting the target because that's what I want. But
Mhm.
I did land somewhere on the board.
That's right.
I did land somewhere on the
Ah,
board.
that's
Right.
right.
So, oh man, that's
That's so right on. I have
that's
a
right on.
gentleman that you're talking about right now, Mr. Nice, both of you. And today was really, and we've mentioned him before. And every relationship he had, he broke it off. Whenever it would get tough, whenever he would get close,
Mm,
it was like, I'm just not dealing with this. And I'm just not calling back. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to whatever, but had no idea that
mm,
somewhere that he needed to ask for or attempt to do somewhere on the board.
yeah.
You see, instead of it just because it didn't hit bullseye
Bullseye.
my expectation, I'm just going to cut the whole thing off.
Dang.
You see,
Okay. And when you start working from that premise, just think about this for a moment. If you fell short, okay, stop with the default of I'm not perfect. Because if you fell short, you need to look at that, you need to own that, and you need to say that. Because I
Mm,
would much prefer you just say, you know what? I didn't do nothing. It skipped me.
yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a better place to be. You
Right.
know why? You just acknowledged what I was already feeling from
Yeah.
what you didn't do.
Right.
So now you're going to psychologically tell me that I shouldn't even expect anything because I'm not. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Nah.
You
That's
got to be kidding me.
right.
So when you say I'm wrong, I'm short, I missed it, the Bible says a wise man learned from his mistakes.
Mm.
But a fool never changed. Let
Right.
me break this down psychologically. And when we want to psychoanalyze, when the Bible says a wise man learn from his mistakes, what is it saying? It's saying you have to acknowledge your mistake. So when I use a default by saying I'm not perfect, you no longer have to acknowledge your mistake. So then the Bible say you're going to be a fool because you never acknowledge. How you going to change from something that you don't acknowledge first?
Yeah. Dang.
So you got to acknowledge. And that's why you got to be with people you love and who love you. So when I say I'm short and I'm wrong,
Yeah.
they don't then crush me and want to bury me.
Yeah.
They see the blessing in my acknowledgement, which
Right.
now sets the tone of saying, I want to do better and
Yeah.
I'm going to do better, but I must be real and take good data from where it stands right now.
And from
That's it.
within, and from what you say out.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
like a confessing. It's like a emptying and getting rid of some old
Right.
stuff. Yes.
That's
Right.
right.
And I can honestly say, and I'm just talking, I'm being very transparent when I'm talking today. Um, I
And I
understood that
appreciate it a lot. I
I
really do.
understood that in order for me to let me say I heard a sermon from TD Jakes. And let me just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it was a really eye opener for me because I found out that in order for me to love love I don't want to say more, I don't want to say different, but I grow in love. Let me just say grow
Mm-hmm.
in love. Not grow like I'm in love, but grow
Right.
in love.
I got you.
So I found out that I've been carrying from birth to 50.
Mm-hmm.
I've been carrying hurts,
Mm-hmm.
hurts and
Hang ups,
Disappointments.
pain.
just disappointments.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I've never purged my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I've never purged my heart of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got in my closet and I started praying,
Mm-hmm.
and I really, it was things that was coming up that I hadn't thought about in years.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointments. It was just things that were just coming up, and it's still going on to this day because it didn't happen. It's not happening overnight of
Mm-hmm.
me purging my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out that that's something that I needed to do
Mm-hmm.
in order to love better.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Amen.
just taking out the time to just acknowledge that I have been disappointed, I have been hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay to let those things go,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Mm-hmm.
can love better,
That's right.
and I can love myself first and foremost
There you go.
better.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Hmm.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Think about going to the gas station and you pulling up in your car. As much gas as the station has. And you go to find your gas tank and you realize, my goodness, as much as I need and want gas and I'm around all this gas, where in the world is my gas tank?
Mm,
Hear what I'm saying? No matter how much gas you get exposed to, if you don't bring an empty gas tank,
mm.
huh,
You can't feel it.
all right then.
Yeah, you can't.
What you
Yeah,
talking? That's right. What you saying is when you realize my tank has been full,
yeah,
but yet I've been at the gas station,
yeah,
right? And I
yeah,
want that gas. I want it bad. I want it
yeah.
bad, but I just cannot receive it. That's
Right.
because it's full.
Oh,
And what
yeah.
God showed you, you got to empty all that
Gotta
gas
ride
out.
it out.
That
All
stuff.
right,
Ride
Gotta
it
get it
out.
out of there.
get it
Hmm.
out.
Yeah,
Go to the gas station. You can sit down, put the pump in your tank,
yeah,
sit with a smile, hit the thing, and just sit and look around and
yeah,
let your gas tank get full. But if
yeah,
you don't empty, you don't go to the gas station enough,
yeah.
you cannot participate
And I
in
think I
what all.
think that
Go
that's
ahead.
man. I think that man. When I heard that man, I said from birth to 50.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine how much. how I imagine how much disappointment, how much
Exactly.
hurt,
Mm-hmm.
how much just man, and I'm talking about
And
things
Mr.
I've done to
Nice,
myself.
all that you're speaking about,
Mm.
you even added some to it
You
Yeah,
did.
because it shouldn't have ought to have happened to you.
yeah, yeah,
You see
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
yeah,
So, in other
Mm-hmm.
words, even though something really happened and all of
Mm-hmm.
that hurt there, the justification and the buildup of the anger even
Mm.
created a whole different scenario that
yeah,
you added to the situation. Now you
That's
got
right.
that to get rid of too.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
And
But
and
you
and, and
know,
Doc,
but you know,
go ahead.
just knowing, just I mean, and I get chills just even now, just knowing that's something I didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
and just knowing it and being able to go get on my knees and really like think about these things and pray about these things
Mm-hmm.
and talk to God about these things.
Mm-hmm.
I Once I did it, I started feeling myself lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't talking about weight wise, I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about peace wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I started feeling myself a little bit lighter, and I started understanding that things are not stressing me as 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 much. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Um, because I'm not putting, like you say, gas on top of gas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm slowly but surely winging this out and letting
Mm-hmm.
fresh,
Come on, brother.
fresh.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
all excited about it listening to you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking over here, Pastor Wilson, you
Uh-huh.
need to have him over there to testify to your congregation.
Yeah, it's
Well, I tell you what, listen to this though. Dr. Lewis, I want you to take this and just kind of throw it in the air for us and make it pop like some things on the 4th of July. Tell the audience, Dr. Lewis, based on where we are right now and what was just described, how counter transference play a role in what he's talking about.
Yes. So, see, what he's talking about is all of the things that he has experienced, how that colored the situation as to what he wanted to give and what he wanted to receive. It had nothing to do with what was actually going on. It was his perception and his need that was reaching out there, defining what it is that he wanted. Okay.
Exactly.
And then he found out that it really wasn't that at
Mm-mm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
What he was doing was giving up all that he wanted. He was giving it away,
Mm-hmm.
throwing it away. You see,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the most important things, and that relates to the attachment, the styles of how we handle relationships, the fears that we have,
Mm-hmm.
is because it is the central, integral part of what it is that we're desiring and want.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that has not been cultured, it has not been groomed, it
Mm-hmm.
has not been prayed over, it has not been, it
Mm-hmm.
has no direction. You see, it's just floating around.
mm-hmm. That's it.
Exactly.
And so
And
now you don't even know what to ask for.
exactly what I
Exactly.
was about to say. What happens with that dynamic, you end up wanting something you don't know how to get.
Right.
I didn't say something you're not supposed to have.
Right.
Follow me now, because that's
Right.
what you start thinking. Maybe I'm just not supposed to have this. No, 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 no,
Right.
no. You just don't know how to get it.
Right.
Right.
Secondly, you want to give something sometimes that you don't know how to give,
Yeah.
and you just
And,
don't know
and,
how to
and,
do
and going through all of this, the number one thing that I found out for me,
it.
for just speaking for myself,
Mm-hmm.
the number one thing that I found out that I want is just peace.
Peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can keep the money,
Mm-hmm.
you can keep all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a peace of mind. And all through all of that, what we was talking about in the past of telling people that's what I was searching for, just a peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
But
Uh-huh.
I didn't know how to get my own
Mm-hmm.
peace of mind. I was giving them peace of mind by telling them what they wanted to hear
Mm-hmm.
and telling them, you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have peace of mind for myself. But now I don't look for my wife to make me happy. I look for
Mm-hmm.
myself to make
Amen.
me.
That's
You
right.
understand what I'm saying?
Now
I
you're
look
talking.
to have a good time and go spend
Right.
time and eat lunch and whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
that we gonna do as far as that. But I'm learning that relying on her for my happiness and relying on my kids for my happiness and all, that's a no for me, because the minute that they not giving me that, I go into this mode. You understand what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
I'm with you.
So learning to make myself happy and just enjoy them as they are,
Right.
I'm good.
And even
And
going back to the past, Pastor Wilson,
hmm
even going back to the past, and all of those things that you had to fall on your knees to ask about, to looking at all of those things, if you can only just pull the threads from those situations that you needed through while you were praying and trying to discern, and only keep that would bring you the peace,
hmm
then you would be able to then find the love, you see, because then there the love is right there in
hmm
front of you.
hmm
And those little threads teach you
hmm
exactly where you need to be. But we
Right.
just keep looking at all the old, we're not taking out of it what we need and what was
Yeah.
sent to us.
And that's because we have not really become honest with ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a reckoning that needs to take place, not in the world,
Mhm.
not between countries,
But in
but in you,
yep.
meaning us. That's the first reckoning. And that reckoning is what? Being honest with yourself
So,
and looking at things the way it really is,
yep.
not the way you wish, not the way you hope. I teach people. I don't get too far into a whole bunch of optimism or pessimism. No, 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 no. I call it realism.
Yes.
Okay? I want to do it the real way. I don't want to be overly optimistic and I don't want to be overly pessimistic. I want to be realistic,
Right.
starting with myself. And here's what you learn, just what you just said, Brother D Nice. You can no longer expect, ask, or demand something from someone else that you haven't started to do for yourself.
So, yep. Yep.
Okay?
Well,
And
y'all,
that's what we
y'all have
do.
talked about it today.
Whew.
Y'all have really done
Woo.
it today. I sure hope some of the people
Whew.
will be on tonight or next week on Culture Vision TV. I hope they download the app because y'all have talked about some stuff that not only men need to know, but women need to hear men talk about it.
Right.
You understand? And so
Mhm,
this is it's a family thing. It's a growth perspective. And
mhm,
what I think is I think we need to come back to this topic again. I think we need to do a seminar on it because I'm getting too many people that are falling, that are having difficulties. But I
mhm.
just want to say thank you for being on today. I want to thank Mr. Kendra Nice, CEO of 90.3 GMT Radio, for
Mhm.
sharing his observations and personal experience, and of course our own Reverend Dr. Corey Wilson, who speaks about biblically, spiritually, but also what he's overheard from his grandparents. Uh, time is learning. And I want to say thank you for being here today. Go to our website, wrc-houston.com. Put in what you want to know more about, what you would like to hear about, your difficulties, frustrations, and put a request in so that we can hear more about what you need. I'm going to say renew beliefs, rebuild faith, and reconnect families and communities. For it's not the circumstances we meet, it is the manner in which we respond that determines health, happiness, and success. So I'm going to see you same place, same time, same station, God willing.
Hey,
Okay.
and Pastor
Again, thank
Wilson, I
Uh-huh.
gotta say this here before we go. Boy, you dropped a
Please.
nugget on me. I
you.
don't need
Did
you to hit the bullseye. I just need you to land somewhere on the board. That's it.
it.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm gonna put that up. Land on the
Yeah.
board, land on the board,
Just land on the board. That's
Just
it.
land on the board. Just
land
land
Yeah.
on the
on the
board.
board.
We'll work on the
Amen.
rest. We'll work on the rest.
We'll work on the rest.
That's
Just
Amen.
land
right.
on the board
And land on the board. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
to
Yes,
everybody.
happy
To
Valentine's.
everybody.
God bless you.
All right.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye-bye.